Hi everyone, and I'm so happy to be sharing with you a new drawing time-lapse video. Today's video is brought to you by Squarespace. Stay tuned until the end for a special offer. For this video, I only used a few of my favorite drawing supplies, which you can find listed in the video description as always. The sketchbook I'm using today is actually from my own shop. You can choose between a blank sketchbook for drawing or a lined notebook for writing. And they have super durable hard covers that feature 2 high-quality artworks printed on both sides. So you're essentially getting 2 covers for the price of 1. If you want to pick up one of these colorful sketchbooks for yourself, they are available at happyd-artist.com. So, as many of you may know, this is the second video in my new Art Without Reference series, in which I will explore drawing and painting without using any reference photos. And the reason I wanted to share these explorations with you all is because it's a topic I get asked about quite frequently, since the themes of my work are usually fantasy and surreal. So, how do reference photos play into my creative process, and do I even use reference photos at all? Well, the simple answer is yes and no. The life cycle of my art usually begins with creating a concept sketch using nothing but my imagination. And then, from that initial concept sketch, I will gather the necessary reference photos I need to help me flesh it out into a more complete and detailed final painting. So I guess you could say that using reference and not using reference are both crucial parts of my process, with different stages requiring different needs. By going reference-free in the conceptualizing stage, I'm able to maximize my creative input and also force myself to think outside the box when brainstorming ideas. But when I want to communicate those ideas through clear and polished visual details, I need reference photos to help guide me. In today's video, I want to focus on chatting about some of the benefits of not relying on reference and how it can help train your creative muscles. And of course, I want to throw out my usual disclaimer to prevent any misunderstanding about the intent of this video series. I'm not saying that drawing or painting without reference is better than drawing or painting with reference. To me, they are both equally important parts of the creative process. And not relying on references doesn't make you a better artist, and likewise, needing to use references doesn't make you a weaker artist. I'm simply sharing some tips I've learned along my personal journey and how breaking free from reference has helped me in honing my creativity and finding my personal style. I respect every artist's unique process, and by no means am I stating that mine is the best way to do things. Like all of my videos, this is just meant to help suggest or inspire some ideas. It's not a rule book that I'm enforcing people to follow. Okay, with the disclaimer out of the way, here are some reasons why I sometimes enjoy going reference-free. For planning and conceptualizing, using only my imagination is a great way to come up with original ideas. Sometimes when I start with a mood board of different reference photos, I find myself struggling to decipher which ideas came from me and which ideas were rooted in the reference photos themselves. Of course, there is nothing wrong with borrowing or taking ideas from references, especially if you took the photos yourself or if you have permission to use them royalty-free. But for my particular style of fantasy concepts, it's a lot more liberating to try to grow my ideas from scratch. And also because I am not the best photographer and I oftentimes get too lazy to plan and stage my own photo shoots. Also, searching for reference photos takes time. Whenever I'm super pumped and eager to get started on a new painting, but I have to first find and collect all the references I need, it can sometimes kill that initial momentum of inspiration. By the time I'm done gathering all the necessary reference photos, a few hours could have already passed, and by then I don't have as much energy as I did in the beginning to actually start creating the piece. Instead, by not requiring any reference photo or planning, I can kick off every painting with a fun brainstorming sketch session, and I can just dive into it right away when my motivation and energy levels are still fresh and at their peak. It's a more lightweight way to get the ball rolling on a piece rather than needing to pause at the beginning for a bunch of tedious planning errands. Also, after I've come up with a concept, it's much faster and more straightforward to look for references because now I know exactly what I need rather than scrolling endlessly through an infinite number of photos, waiting for a few of them to stick. And planning for paintings aside, sometimes it's just fun to doodle and draw with no set goal in mind. Not every sketch has to be in preparation for it to turn into a giant epic oil painting. Whenever I'm in the mood to just de-stress and draw for relaxation or leisure, I tend to go without references because it almost brings back the memory of doodling in my school notebook. Yep, I was one of those people who rarely paid attention in class and often drew portraits of my professors the whole time. But letting myself just doodle without any specific goals in mind and no inhibitions is a nice break when I'm dealing with a lot of job-related deadlines. Even though no matter what, I will always love creating art, sometimes when I've signed up for too many projects for clients or galleries, the stress levels can build up and tarnish that initial childlike sense of adventure and fun in creating art. So giving myself a few breaks every now and then to just doodle without reference photos and without any plans not only helps me come up with more open-minded and fresh ideas, it also reinvigorates the whimsical playfulness of doing art. Lastly, going reference-free is a great way to expedite the journey to finding my personal style. I've always said that finding your signature art style is not something that you have to consciously make an effort to do. Rather, it's something that will come naturally to you as you create more art and organically find an aesthetic or set of themes that reflect your unique voice. For me, it's during the moments where I'm coming up with ideas reference-free that I am most attuned to what concepts and motifs are most deeply imprinted in my mind. Whenever I'm staring at a blank sheet of paper and just begin jotting down the first few impactful ideas that come to mind, it's usually a pretty reliable indicator that those ideas are the ones that reflect my personal voice. Reference photos are essential for practicing my skills and building the foundation I need to convey my ideas more effectively. But sometimes for me, they can muffle the inner voice that articulates the stories I want to tell. So, forcing myself to use only my visual memory during the conceptualizing and brainstorming stages helps me mute any external distractions so that I can let my personal creativity shine. And that about wraps up today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I'm hoping to continually add more videos to this series, so if you have any questions or suggestions for topics or even tutorials that you'd like to see in this arena, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. This original drawing is actually a part of my $95 tier Patreon rewards, which currently includes an original drawing, a large fine art print, a postcard print, and a surprise sticker, all for $95. And that's on top of the hundreds of hours of exclusive Patreon tutorials, podcasts, live streams, and so much more that you can get for just a few dollars a month. So if you're interested in learning more about drawing and painting, or if you just enjoy getting surprise art gift boxes in the mail, check out patreon.com/happydartist. I wanted to quickly thank Squarespace for sponsoring this video and for supporting my channel and the art community. I've actually enjoyed using Squarespace for 4 years now to build and host my online shop and website. So whether you need a domain, website, or online store, make your next move with Squarespace. Start your free trial today at squarespace.com and visit squarespace.com/happydartist for 10% off your first purchase. Also, if you want to check out more artworks, works in progress, and just random daily artist adventures, feel free to check out my Instagram, and you can follow me at the handle @happydartist. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!